Welcome to lesson 4 of our debate unit. Today's lesson is going to go over opening and closing statements. Now, I just said today, and in retrospect, that's probably not the best word to use because you could be watching this lesson after watching number 1, 2, and 3. So in that case, it wouldn't be today's lesson, it would be the next lesson. Or maybe it is actually today's lesson because this could be the first day that you're watching lessons on the debate project. This is getting confusing, and I can see some of you wondering that why Mr. Volkman's talking like this. So I'm going to stop confusing you guys, and let's continue on with the lesson, shall we? Let's first start talking about opening statements because, well, that will be the very beginning of your introduction into your debate against your opponent. The very first thing you want to do is you want to restate your main question. Just like when you're writing an introductory paragraph for an essay, you want to remind your audience of what everything is that you're going to be talking about. So for example, if your debate is on whether the northern states were better than the southern states in the mid-1800s, you would say, we are talking today about which group of states in the 1800s were the best. The second thing you need to do is you need to give your position, which flows really nicely into restating the main question. If I continue with my example, I would say the best state in the mid-1800s would be the northern states. The third step of what you're going to do in your opening statement is you're going to briefly give your main reasons to support your position. Now, you want to be careful with this, and here's why. If you give too much information away in your opening statements, it gives a lot of ammunition to your opponents when they give their rebuttal. So you don't want to be very specific. You may want to say something along the lines of, oh, I don't know, and this example will be for the pizza one. If you're saying pizza is the best food in the world, you may say something along the lines of, pizza is the best food in the world because, well, it tastes great. Money has a big indicator on why it's the best. And it's not quite as hard as you would think to find pizza places. So right there, my main reasons for my pizza, they let the audience know what I will talk about, but they're not so specific that it gives my opponent time to think about ways to shoot holes in my argument. Lastly, your opening statement is also your first opportunity to take a shot at your opponent, or as I say, a shot across the bow. It's a warning shot. It's poking at them. It's already poking holes at your opponent's argument. So if your opponent is saying, let's say for example, that hamburgers are the best food to eat, not pizza, you could say hamburgers, by the way, are not the best food to eat, unlike pizza, because, well, hamburgers are so boring. I mean, everyone eats hamburgers. They're so easy to make. So right there, all of a sudden you're poking holes, you're showing why your opponent's argument is not the best. Again, you have limited time, so you can't go too in depth. Now, let's end this with talking about the closing statements. Your closing statements are going to be a lot like your opening, because you're going to restate the question again, because again, you want to bring back the audience focus to the main point. So, remind them of the question. Remind them of your position. Let them know that, hey, my side's the best. And again, remind them of your main details. By the time your closing statements have come on, they have heard a lot of information. They have heard a lot of rebuttals. So it's good to remind them of the facts and make it short or sweet. And again, this is your last chance to put a dagger to your opponent, to get another shot across the bow, whether it's reminding them of a weakness of your opponent's argument, or maybe briefly giving them something new to chew on. Well, this is the end of lesson 4. If you have any questions on opening or closing statements, please feel free to ask the living and breathing Mr. Volkman that hopefully is wandering around. And if Mr. Volkman right now is sitting down at his computer, or if he's not showing that he's giving you guys the attention that you deserve of the futures of tomorrow, well, by all means, remind Mr. Volkman to do his job. Thank you. Please continue on with the quest.